Hey guys, welcome to the Real EQ podcast. Every so often I just like to have a conversation with me and you guys. And so today we're going to be talking about a buzzword of late, discipline. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to share my thoughts, my mindset as it relates to this very important word, discipline. Well, one of the things is that when you're disciplined in whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be consistent. And so consistency is a byproduct of discipline. And honestly, it just came from my consistency comes from understanding that in order for me to get where I want to go, I have to show up every day and do things every day. And so, really, the consistency is born out of a profound desire to accomplish great things in my life. And so, if the desire to do or to get where you want to be is great enough, consistency won't be an issue for you. All right, so the difference between being motivated and being committed is simple. Motivation is fleeting. It's like I have a friend who says motivation is like taking a bath. It's something that you are going to have to do every day. Being committed, however, means that regardless of how motivated you may feel, you're still going to get it done. Commitment really shows up in the everyday when nobody's looking, regardless of how you feel. See, motivation is a feeling, and it's a fleeting feeling. But being committed means that you're going to do the things that are necessary to get you closer to where it is that you want to be, regardless of how you feel. And that, my friends, is the difference between motivation and being committed. When you're trying to build a $100 million media company, media empire, really, you're trying to be the best father that you can be, the best husband that you can be, the best employer that you can be. When you have goals and dreams as big as I do, consistency may want to waver. But for me, I would love to tell you all that, it's because I stay consistent because I know my why. And while that's maybe as part of it, it is a very small part. The reality is that consistency isn't that much of an issue for me because I shape my environment in such a way that makes it easy for me to be consistent. I really take time to build the environment and then support that with building the habits. It's really the habits. And so it isn't so much that, it's easy for me it isn't so much that it's super difficult for me to stay consistent because my focus is on shaping my environment to make it as easy to be consistent as possible. And then doing things, making it a habit. Like if you ask somebody who is addicted to drugs or who smokes, like they don't have to think about smoking. It's a habit. And so if you make showing up every day, doing the things that are necessary to get you where you want to be in life a habit, it's easier to stay consistent. So I remember when I was actually on prep for my national bodybuilding. So I remember when I was actually on prep for my national bodybuilding competition about a couple of years ago. So this would have been 2014. I really didn't feel like myself. And so I had kind of gone out. A friend of mine was getting married. And, we went out to the wedding. I had a couple of drinks. I had some eats. And it completely kind of derailed my momentum. And so I woke up the next morning, obviously hungover, obviously feeling bad because I ate all of the food that I wasn't supposed to eat. I drank all the drink that I wasn't supposed to drink. And I remember in that moment, I was like, all of the hard work that I've put in over the last several months had just got thrown away because of one mistake or one decision to indulge. And I remember I was like, no, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to work out these days for these hours. And so as bad as I felt, I did actually work out. And the thing is that when I hopped on the scale for my check-in, like I was actually on track. And why that's important is because had I not decided to work out and had I just really settled in my feeling of defeat and just allowed that one bad decision from that day to continue and stack more bad decisions, I would have actually derailed my progress completely. But because I was disciplined enough to still get up, even though I made one bad decision, which was to indulge the night before, I was still able to get up, get to the gym. I realized that I did, in fact, stay on target. And so that had the opportunity to really throw me through a loop. So that was one time that I actually, discipline caused me to stay on track, and I didn't derail the progress even though I thought I did. So I get asked all the time, how can somebody build discipline if they've never been consistent at anything? And the reality is that everybody has been consistent at something, even if you've consistently been inconsistent. And so there are areas in our lives where we do display discipline and consistency. And the thing is that we just got to look at those areas. And you may say, no, but I try to do that. Reality is that everybody wakes up every morning pretty much to get up, get dressed, and go to work, regardless if they feel like they want to go to work in any event. Why do they do that? They do that because they need to get paid. Now, you would much rather want to lay in bed or hang out with friends or, do other things, but you wake up regardless of how you feel. And I know people who go to work sick as a dog. I know people who go to work even if they got a flat tire. I know people who go to work regardless. And so if you look at the other areas in your life where you're showing up consistently, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on, think about the principles and tools and skills and qualities that you're employing in those areas of your life, and then apply it to that, right? The next part of that is start off small. You don't have to try and be the biggest thing. It's like literally build capacity. Small steps in the right direction still beats big steps in the wrong one. And so you want to just take small steps. Consistency just means that you're doing it all the time. If you want to work out 5 days a week and you've never worked out a day in your life, it may not make sense to set that as a goal. But if you say, you know what, I want to start working out 1 day a week for 20 minutes on that day, you can do that consistently. And then once you have that under wraps, add another day, and then add another day. And then maybe you add, instead of 20 minutes, you do 30 minutes. And so taking small steps in the right direction, no matter how small they may seem, is a great way to build consistency over time. Motivation is the spark, and discipline is the fire. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, build the habits that don't rely on feelings. And don't forget, get uncomfortable and do the work, because the world needs your greatness. Peace.